you're not always going to know what to do. So if you don't have some sort of guidance, then you're going to be out here doing what everybody else is doing. And what everybody else is doing is not necessarily right, but you'll think it is because that's what everybody's doing.
Yeah, everybody's doing it.
Yeah, it's like keeping up with the Joneses. And I'm reading the book now. They say keeping up with the Joneses is a mental illness because in your mind, you want these things. Once you get these things, you're happy for a week. After that, you ain't happy no more. And you on to the next thing. So it's all mental. You have to separate yourself from these material things.
Man, and that's hard.
It is hard.
It's hard.
What's happening, everyone's? We here and we back with another episode of
Is My Point Valid?
Yes, indeed. And before we get started, my name is Brandon D.
And I am Camille A. Stocker.
And we're going to go ahead and jump into this thing with what you know good. So what you got for him, baby?
All right. I have a lot of reads because y'all missed out last week. Okay. Queen Sugar by Natalie Bazile. I gave this 3 stars. The next book I read, The Second Summer of the Sisterhood by Anne Brashares. This was the sequel to The Traveling Pants, and there's a whole series of it. And I gave that 4 stars. The next book I read, Between the World and Me. I'm for sure his name. Do you remember? Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Like that.
4 stars. The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. 3 stars. The Woman Who Went to Bed for a Year. Y'all, this book started out, I was giggling and kiki.
And then what happened?
It went downhill. But this is by Sue Townsend. And I give this 2 stars. It is not an American book. It is the UK. So she's from the United Kingdom. She wrote this. And the humor in it was crazy. But then it went downhill because it sucked. Okay. Next. I was like, oh my goodness. It started off well. Then I do want to share this other book that I have on camera. You can't see it. My bad. It is 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro. And this is by J.A. Rogers. And it just gives amazing facts. And it says complete proof. And then I started Googling these people. I was like, So you learn a lot of interesting things. And if you are interested in it and some of the other all of the other reads, you can check all of those out on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be in the comments.
There you go. I couldn't think of it.
The link
My mind.
to all the books that she mentions.
There you go.
The books of the week will be in the description.
My mind was like a little child. Am I right? Did I get it?
Yeah.
Is it okay?
It's there. It'll be there. So
it's there. But yeah, if you want to check this, the 100 Amazing Facts, I would definitely buy
about
that
the
one.
Negro.
It's Black History Month. Learn something.
Yeah.
But read about it all year, not just February. And that's all I've been reading. I didn't watch anything. Y'all know what? I will say I did watch for the first time Higher Learning, and that was interesting. It was interesting, the dialogue, what happened. Really,
did you like it?
Did I like it? Can I rate it? It was a 3.
On a 1 to what? 5?
A 1 to 5.
It was a 3.
It was a 3. You want me to do it on 1 to 10? Then it was a 5. But on it's still halfway. It was good. I got the message, but I still feel like the white guy,
what's his name?
Michael Rappaport.
That guy.
He was a lame. He was, I don't even want to say a lame. he didn't know how to defend himself. And so he bottled it all in, and he didn't know how to have a conversation like, hey, I don't understand. So you go be with
skinheads,
weirdo, and then okay. Yeah, I watched that movie, but yeah, it was interesting. And that's all I have for what you know good.
All righty then. And before we get into the topic, we want to say thank you to everyone who continues to support our channel. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It helps us grow. There are a few links in the description. If you want to support us monetarily, we would appreciate that as well. But we're going to go ahead and get into the topic for today, which is going to be...
Who is raising your children?
So, excuse me. We talk a lot about taking care of your own children, disciplining your children, giving your children the tools that they need to navigate in the world. Mm-hmm. We talk about that all the time. That is a main subject on our channel.
Yeah.
As of lately, we've been getting a lot of backlash.
Oh my gosh.
Like, people just don't want to take care of their own children. They want their kids to be raised by everyone but themselves. They don't want that responsibility. Now, before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about how we got to this point of raising our own children, not depending on the school system, not really wanting any kind of government assistance or anything like that. You want to jump into that?
I don't know, because when we were talking about it, our discussion off the camera, you said, well, is it biblical? And it did not start off biblical. I didn't know at the time when I wanted to bring my children out, or the way that I was feeling that that it was in the Bible, that it was a biblical, that God said, right? I didn't know that. It was just this feeling inside of me. You get gut feelings, and no, it was not God talking to me. Okay, he wasn't whispering, come here.
Get them kids out to school.
You gotta bring them out. It was not that. Okay?
Save your
It was not that. I think it was a mother's intuition of knowing that
things was getting bad.
Maybe things were getting bad, but knowing that I felt incomplete sending my children on a bus, first off, because
they like, bye.
It was easier to put them on a bus, and then they wanted to ride the bus. But I was having why do I feel this way? They're supposed to be going to school. Yeah. They're supposed to go interact with people.
According to whom?
According to what society or compulsory school has been set up to be. And so I was like, they are supposed to do these things. They're supposed to be around their peers, meaning the same age. Mm-hmm. They're supposed to have this one teacher. And then when they move up in grades, they're supposed to have, the 4 teachers, and you go to each class and a bell rings and they're supposed to sit at a desk. And I thought those things.
They're supposed to learn at the same pace as everyone.
I thought that, well, you just have to sit it out, okay, because you know it. But then also a part of me was like, but you're a little bit ahead, right?
So that's tough for a child. It's because in a child's mind, you're saying, I'm around all of these people, so I want to fit in. So the only way for me to fit in is to dumb myself down.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem within schools.
And I will always say, Ava fit in, right? Ava and Ava didn't even fit in. Ava was the person who everybody flocked to. Right?
She was the leader.
She was the leader. She still is. And she is the leader amongst different age groups. It doesn't matter. Ava is going to lead
the crowd.
Ava's going to start the conversation.
And I don't even think she does it in consciously. It's almost like she's just being herself, and that's a natural leader. So
then with Isabel, everything was new to her because she started in pre-K, so she knew. And then now looking back, she was used to an older sister. She was used to older cousins. So I placed her into a system where they were all the same age, and she couldn't.
It was confusing for her.
And she couldn't flourish the way she could. Like, she was flourishing because she knew her letters and how to write her name and everything. But the play, she was sitting with the teacher, y'all. She wasn't playing. The other little girls were with the little girls, and they were doing, this. My baby liked to play with Lego and build and draw and do bigger things than what pre-K was doing.
Providing.
So looking back at it now, it's like, oh man, I was doing what I thought I was supposed to do. And I know a lot of parents do go into that thinking, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do because I went through the school system.
And then it's not always that. It's sometimes the financial part of it. They have to go to work.
Yes.
So that is also another factor as to why the school system is so...
I get it. But once you start learning, and then this is where... like I said in the beginning, it was not a biblical thing. It was a mother's, like, I don't feel complete. There's just
the biblical part of it was just confirmation.
There's this attachment here, and I don't understand why. And then the pandemic happens, and then that's when it's like, okay, you have to get the nerve up. You have to try this. You have to try this. And I'm telling you, that first week, it was like, okay, we're not doing this. We're doing it my way. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. All right. But I did it, and I'm still doing it. And I'm learning more. If you're not learning something new every day, then, that's an issue. But I'm learning something new every day.
Y'all learning together.
We learn together. And I get all bubbly when I say I'm a homeschool mom. At the end of the day, forget the homeschool, forget curriculum, forget all of that. At the end of the day, I'm a mom.
You're mothering your children.
Who knows? Well, okay, she doesn't understand that, so we need to work on this a little bit more. She needs love, so I'm going to let them hug me today. As much as possible. Yeah. What do you want to eat? I'm waking up and I'm feeding them and I'm letting them rest. Like school, what time do you have to wake up to go to school? Maybe 8.
Too early.
Let you know. The girls sleep until probably 8 o'clock, 8:15. They get up.
They catch the bus right into the bathroom to brush their teeth.
So that is where I was with it. But at the end of the day, I'm a mom. All of this is just being a mom of what I'm supposed to do. And then I start looking and reading the Bible and understanding the word. And you're looking at different scripture and you're seeing, it is telling me this is your job and this is what you are supposed to do, mother, father. Like, these are Parents. these are your responsibilities. Nobody else told you to birth these children, right? Nobody told you to go have sex. Hey, you go do that. And then it was none of that.
If you make the choice to have a child, you also need to make the choice to be smart enough to teach your child.
And when you started, you talked about some of the comments, and some of the comments for me were disheartening. I think I went on a little rant, or I was kind of like, it was really disheartening for me because I was like,
people say the darndest things.
People do say the darndest things, and it was mind blowing because it was like, my children, but people were saying their children were not their responsibility for 8 hours, but somebody else was.
Is supposed to do that.
That is the teacher's job.
I'm supposed to do the fun things.
I was like,
if one person, you remember the guy was like, well, I got to work for 8 hours. I can't come home and teach my child. Okay.
And that's another thing that I have learned with reading the Bible, that I know y'all not gonna like this because y'all gonna be in the comments with this one too. A man is supposed to work and a mother is supposed to be at home raising the family, food, budgeting the money, having a clean house.
That's not going to rub well with the modern day woman.
Right. And I get it. Like you said, some moms do have to work, but it's the ones who are saying, well, I need this to sustain my life, to sustain my lifestyle. And I can only speak personally. There's one income coming in, okay? There has been one income coming in for the entirety of our marriage. What do I do on the side? Okay, I take surveys, but even if that ain't do nothing, okay? That's gonna buy They're gonna buy me a couple of good books from my homeschool. It's gonna say, "Hey, y'all want to go get some candy?
A basket of fries from McDonald's.
Y'all want a meal?" Like that? That will not sustain, and so that has been triggering sometimes, because at times I have thought, "Hey, I need to go get a job because my husband needs help." But I am helping him. I'm helping
in more ways than you know.
Right. And I didn't understand it, because I was like, I have to. And then I've had the thought during this homeschooling thing, well, maybe I'm gonna have to go get a job. Maybe I'm gonna have to get a job. And that means I'm gonna have to put my kids back into school.
We'll make it through. We'll figure it out. But my kids going back into the school system is not an option.
So I was like, is this a sacrifice? And then you look at other families, homeschool families, who are saying they're in the same boat. Mm-hmm. Their husbands work, they're home, they're teaching their children, but they know that this is the Lord's work. Like being a mom is what God placed you on this earth to do. Being
a father
is what God placed you on this earth to do. Or being a daddy. And to lead your children and not lead them. Vodi says this, Vodi Bakum says this thing, you something about Caesar and you leading, hold on y'all, I gotta get it right. But he says you're leading the Caesar from Rome or something like that. What is it, Brandon?
You're raising Caesar.
That you are, they're called the children of Caesar. So you're sending them to Caesar so they can turn out like Rome. That's what he said. It took me a minute. I had to think about it. And so I didn't understand it when I first listened to it. And I was like, what is he talking about? That's not Caesar. This is not
clever,
Rome. I don't know what
about.
This is.
Yeah.
And so you start listening to different things, and then it is, school's not set up the way that we think it is. Like, I think in one episode, I didn't talk about it, but there's standardized testing.
That's what they're preparing you for.
That's what they're preparing you for, a test. It's not like cool things. Like right now, we're learning about World War II and the Tuskegee Airmen, which go hand in hand. But you would never know that coming from the school system. I had no idea that the Tuskegee Airmen, the World War II, and Pearl Harbor had something to do with each other. They're all connected.
It's the same war.
Because you looked at me, yeah. It's all connected. They do one here, and it's all together. And I'm not knocking. Well, yes, I am. I am knocking. The school system is not teaching that. The school system is not teaching that. They're trying to teach how to diagram a sentence. Is this a noun? Is this a subject and a predicate? If Jimmy has 3 rows of this and 5, like how many does this come up to? You're testing for that. You're making anchor charts, and I was like on that so heavy, and that's a part of homeschooling that you have to take away. You can't do school at home because it does not work. And from somebody who has been in the school system, I was raised by my parents, but was in the school system. And was like, okay, well, this is what it is. Yeah. This is what it is. So sometimes my mindset, why aren't you doing what you're supposed to do? Oh, hold on. It ain't even that serious.
Yeah.
It's not that serious. So That's why I took responsibility. And now I'm in the Bible. I'm reading the Bible, and that is
guidance.
That's guidance every day at the beginning of.
You're not always gonna know what to do. So if you don't have some sort of guidance, then you're going to be out here doing what everybody else is doing. And what everybody else is doing is not necessarily right, but you'll think it is because that's what everybody's doing.
Everybody's doing it.
Yeah, it's like keeping up with the Joneses. And I'm reading the book now. They say keeping up with the Joneses is a mental illness because in your mind, you want these things. Once you get these things, you're happy for a week. After that, you ain't happy no more. And you on to the next thing. So it's all mental. You have to separate yourself from these material things.
Man, and that's hard.
It is hard.
It's hard because think about how much we've lost. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. Think about
I don't find it funny.
Think about how much we've lost, but think about what we gained. And we didn't gain material things. Right? We lost a lot of material things.
Absolutely. But
we gained more family time, more laughs, more look at this.
Experiences.
Like, look at this. And it was together.
Yeah.
So are we giving too much responsibility to others to raise our children?
I think so. Because it's like we were saying, kids spend 8 hours at school. There's no way possible that they're remembering all of those things that are learned in the 8 hours.
No, and then it's rote learning. So I learned this in homeschooling because I had never heard of rote learning.
I don't know what that is either.
It's repetitive.
You keep doing that same thing. You keep doing
it over and over and over. To think about how you learned your multiplication facts. It was on repeat. You're doing it. When we did it, we had these speed drill tests in Saxon math, which the girls use. And so you're doing it. That's rote learning. It's repetitive. And so in the compulsory school, public school, y'all, it is rote learning. And so children are not retaining it. Mm-hmm. They're not. They'll
remember it for a week.
Oh yeah.
Summertime come, it's all over.
It's all over. And then that's parents are like, well, why is my child? Because you're
not continuing any of that education throughout the summertime.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
I had a guy at work tell me, I think I said this before in another episode, but a guy at work told me that learning should stop after they leave the school. No more learning should happen after you leave school. And I was like, thank God you don't have any kids because your kids would be out here dumb than a Mickey figure.
But think about how many children are subject to that, whose learning is cut off. I can look at, and then you have to think of there's children extracurricular activities. There are children who have to go be in all of these things, but their parents are not reading to them. Nope. And I was trying to find a fact right now, but I can't find it. I should have thought about that beforehand. But it tells about how many books, like how many, you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That should be read. And so it determines if you're a C student, a B student, or an A student. And I guess there you found it fast.
Yeah, I had it saved. What is this? How does it go? 20 minutes. An A student reads 20 minutes per day, 3,600 minutes per school year, 1,800,000 words per year, scoring in the 90th percentile on standardized tests. So that's an A student. A C student reads 1 minute per day, 180 minutes per school year, 8,000 words per year, and scores 10th in their percentile on standardized testing. If your student starts reading 20 minutes per night at home in kindergarten by the end of 6th grade, student A will have read the equivalent of 60 school days. Student B will have read 12 school days. and C, 3 school days. The gap in reading experience and resulting vocabulary knowledge adds up over time. Your kids need to read.
You need to read. And
you got to. And it's not even about the standardized testing. It's life. Where you going to get without knowing how to read?
You know what's interesting? Just quickly to go back to us. What's interesting to me is we read books, y'all. We repeat books. And there are some of these picture books that I don't remember. I'm like, I don't remember reading this.
They do.
And they do. But one of the most vivid things that the girls do remember is reading our Bible. We read our Bible every day in the morning. Right now we're in Leviticus 21. We're going through it slowly. We're talking about it. But they are able to take what we're saying and then apply it like instantly, like a really quickly. I'll tell this quick story. We had some apples or oranges, whichever one. And there was something on them. And so the girls were like, there were potatoes. You know how the potatoes have the sprouts that come out? And the girls, they were like, it has leprosy. And I was like, yeah.
Lord have mercy.
And we had learned about leprosy. Sorry. We had learned about leprosy that morning, so they were pointing.
And applying it immediately. They
were pointing out at the fruit, and it was like, well, that one's going to have to be, that one has to be separated for the people for 7 days.
The potato.
So, children listen or pay attention, but for me, the girls have been paying really hard attention.
They've been on it.
To the Bible, right? And so I just found that so interesting. It's like and if you read it, you are supposed to apply it, yeah. But that was hilarious to me.
They don't be playing no games out here.
That was so funny. So
they be holding church. They have a choir. They be inviting us. So don't think it's us. It's them.
It's how you train up a child, right? Yeah. What do you want your child to know? How are you?
What kind of lifestyle do you want your children to lead?
Right. And, we say with children, you have to lead by example, of course, but it's also like what you are doing. And when you continue to place your children into classrooms who are, I'm not saying anything's wrong with this, I think it is something wrong with it.
Absolutely.
When you are listening to, the latest music or I know that or all, like, I do think it's kind of cool when teachers use the music and then they apply the lesson to the music. I think that's cool. But in that, I think that parents should be in on it as well. And here's what I mean when I say parents should be in on it. Hey, teacher, I know parents are you got to try and get in contact with them, but it needs to be a hand-in-hand thing so that the student doesn't lose the momentum of what they learned in school.
Because they going home and learning nothing.
And then parents, listen to the child. If they say, hey, I learned this song today. You want to hear it? Mm-hmm. Even if you don't, yes. And just, sometimes just say yes and be like, oh, okay, that's cool. And they could teach you those are the things. So you are sending them to school, but you could be so active in it.
Do they still have parent-teacher conferences? I wonder.
I think so. Mm. I think so, but who's raising your children?
We raising ours.
I know. We are raising our girls, and it's interesting that it's just different, and I'm just applying different ways on how to say, okay, we're not doing that because that's not cool. But we are going to do this, and this is cool. And we are going to learn this because I don't think you would have learned it.
Yeah.
I don't think you would have learned it. Like we talked about this Tuskegee Airmen. Ava's the one who said, I want to learn about the Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah. If she was in school, she probably would have never heard of it.
Children in school, children don't have that option to say, hey, I want to learn about this.
Yeah.
Right? You have a choice of, okay, you're going to pick this person and you're going to write about it. The girls have pick people, whoever they want to pick, and they have to write about it. And I found that makes their writing better. Their excitement is way up. Mm-hmm. Mommy didn't choose it for me. I chose this for myself.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, don't determine, like, I guess all I'm saying is don't let somebody else have so much influence. And it's hard.
It is. Especially when you got to go to work.
It's hard.
But I'm going to tell you this. We always make time for the things that we want to do.
Oh, wow.
Once you start wanting to teach your children, you'll start cutting out all the extracurriculars to make that happen. So it's not really, everybody has the same amount of time in a day. Millionaires find the time to be billionaires. Why can't you find the time to teach your children what they need to know so they can be all right out here in the world? Or so they won't have to depend on anyone outside of your influence to teach them, discipline them, because brother-in-law was saying this today. He said the worst thing you can do for your child is not discipline them, because with that, they will have a world of a lifetime of misery. A lifetime. They are going to go through it for the rest of their life if you do not discipline them right now. So that is one of the most important things we need to be teaching our children, is how to act out here in this world, what to say and what not to say out here in this world. And that all goes with discipline.
And discipline does not stop once baby turns 3 and you're like, okay, yes and no, and yes. It's, man, you got to keep on at these children till they 18. Okay, till they
even after that. I needed doggone discipline after that.
Like even after, but you have to discipline them.
Yeah,
and you have to understand that discipline does not mean bad, right?
Yeah. Discipline. People always, when you say discipline, they always think you're beating your kids or whatever, but it doesn't have to be that. You need to find out what works for your child, because what a way I discipline Ava wouldn't be a way I discipline Isabel. It's different because they're individuals.
And I learned that the hard way.
You got to know your child. You should know your children. If you spend some time with them, you will understand them. It's not that hard. You don't understand your child because you're not spending any time with them, but the school is.
And the teacher can tell you more about your child than that.
And then they don't really know about your child because they can't dive deep into it because they have 20 other students that they also have to tend to. So your kid, whether you realize it or not, your children yearn for your attention, affection,
love,
your love, all of those things. You need to give it to them. If not, they will find it from someone. And if you have girls like I do, I don't want them to find it from nobody else.
Right.
This world is a cruel world, and you never know who they might run into out there.
Right.
So I'm going to give them everything they need so they know when they do get out there or old enough to be out there in that world, they know what to expect from a man, a partner, or a relationship.
And read, right, go back to the Bible. Right now we're reading, like I said, we're reading in Leviticus. And one of the things that is the part that we're on right now, God is telling Moses to tell the Israelites, hey, don't y'all be going over there messing with your with any of your relatives. Don't you have sex with them?
Nah, don't
do this, don't do that, don't do that.
No, leave them
alone. So the girls are like, Mommy, do people do that today?
Yes.
They do.
You ever heard of a sister cousin?
They do. And it was like, it was interesting because it was like, people really, I said, yes. And then
they are amazed that people don't know that that's not right.
Yeah.
That's the amazement.
That's the amazement.
People do not know that's not right.
And that was my point. That was my whole point of saying about this, to go back to the Bible, because they're like, the girls' common sense is like, okay, we know that's not right. We know you don't.
People don't know that.
You don't. A woman should not be with a animal. Like, we know these things. And they looked at me, Mommy, people do that. Yeah, they do it.
God had to say it.
And and I was like, you're reading it, right? And they're just like, and so they're involved in the conversation, but they're seeing that. Okay, people got to be told what to do. Like,
absolutely, grown folks, old folks, young folks, it don't matter. Everybody needs direction.
And so we apply that because I need them to see. Yeah. So I just like to go back to the Bible and have the girls look at everything, and we're learning together. So I have one last question. Are we focused on getting ahead with material things and forgetting about our children?
Like we were just talking about, keeping up with the Joneses. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to have the newest things. Mm-hmm. Nobody gets recognition or open recognition for raising your kids properly. So people, it's no reward. What's that Drake song?
There is a reward for, not openly.
So there's no benefit for people to raise their kids right, besides the fact that they're raising their kids right.
I know my reason. I know
people just want to be seen out here.
And I don't.
I don't care to be seen.
I don't want to be seen.
I just did a video the other day. You do not have to be out here in everybody face it and everybody business to be influential. You can do it from your home, from right here. You're
supposed to influence your children because they are the next generation. Absolutely. Right? After they are the ones who are supposed to run the world. They are the ones who are supposed to, change the world. And I'm going to say this and then we can wrap up or whatever. We need to raise our children because these are the people who eventually are going to have to run the government, who are going to probably need to work. And we are so filled with, let's make this video, let's make this TikTok, let's take these pictures and let's post them.
Our kids
and they're not doing anything productive.
They have no real skills.
There's nothing productive. Do you want them to go to college? And if they go to college, what are they going to do? If you don't understand college, and if your child tells you that they don't want to go to college, would you say, hey, you can do a trade school? Like, what are we doing? We plan and we're saving, not saying we don't need life insurance and all of that. We do need those things. Okay? Mm-hmm. Those things are important. But being a leader as the parent and guiding your child the right way, and there is a right way. And I know the right way for me. I'm not going to tell you your right way, but I know the right way for me. And that is leading my children to understand, first off, we are not good people.
At all.
We're not. Nobody's good. It
takes work to be good.
Second off, you don't love with your heart. You love by action. Third off, read your Bible and understand God.
That's the guidance.
You don't understand something? Well, let's open this up. You need help with something? Well, let's pray.
Most of us don't know which direction to go because we're not using our moral compass. Our moral compass is the Bible.
Yeah. If you don't understand something, then let's pray. If I'm not there, but you need to pray, you pray by yourself. If your sister is there, then y'all need to pray together. If you see something that you don't understand, open up your Bible and you read it. And then you say, well, I still don't understand. Well, let's talk about it. Like, that is how it took me a while to get here because everybody's not going to get there, right? Yeah. Everybody's not going to get to believing in the Bible. Everybody's not going to feel the same way I feel. And guess what? It's not okay, but hey, it's okay because that's you.
Yeah.
But for me in my household, this is what I feel is right. And this is what I feel that I have to do to raise my children for them to be influential in society, that when they do become adults, that they can do the same thing that I'm doing right now. Hey, I'm warning you.
Straight up.
hey, I'm warning you.
Start the conversation.
Like that is my job. And I feel like that's my job. It's not, my job is, of course, to feed them and love them and all that, but to help lead them to God.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm leading that. Now, when they get older and whatever they decide to do, okay, cool. But I know that I've led you. I didn't lead you astray, right? I mean, I try not to. But, during these primitive, these very, very, very important years that parenting does not stop, that we are the influence. So stop letting your children be influenced by any and everybody, because any and celebrities, all these people who you value so much, like, why are you giving them people so much of your time?
They ain't giving you no time.
You know how many people I've had to let go?
I think you need to let it go.
To let go. And I'm talking about like celebrities who you know how many shows I don't watch anymore? You know what music I don't listen to anymore?
They don't think like I think.
Like books that I'm like, different. I can't read that anymore. Yeah. I can't consume that.
I don't believe that.
It's like, oh man.
I'm not one of you.
Like purging, right? Yeah. So I just took that responsibility on myself we did to how do we want these girls to be raised? Because we were raising little girls to be women. And if you have
not modern women,
no. But I'm raising my girls to,
I just pray when they get old enough that there's going to be some little boys out there, young men out there who are worthy of my little girls. So all you parents out there, I need y'all to raise y'all sons a little bit better, so my daughters can have something when they get out there. But with that being said, who's raising your children? Are you taking that responsibility upon yourself?
It's tough. It is hard work. We're not saying you have to put effort into raising children.
Every day.
It's not I'm on.
Not no weekend thing. No, it is daily work.
Every day.
Every day. And even if you're not a couple that is together, figure it out.
Figure it out.
For your child, it ain't got nothing to do with you and your materialistic mind. You need to figure it out for your child.
Where do you want your child to be?
Absolutely. But we're going to keep it on and moving. And bush in the head one time with on this day in Black history. So today is February the 13th. So in February 13th, 1923, the New York Renaissance, also known as the Wrens, was the first all-Black, fully professional African-American owned basketball team. Formed in Harlem today, February 13th in 1923. It was owned, the founder was Bob Douglas, and they were indicted in the Hall of Fame in 1963.
Never heard of that.
Me neither. I mean, inducted. I said indicted. They weren't indicted. They ain't going to jail. Inducted into the Hall of Fame. But that was on this day in Black history. Shout out to the New York Renaissance. But before we get out of here, once again, thank you to everyone who supports our channel. We are continuing to grow, as you can see. It's a beautiful journey. We're going to keep it going. If you want to support us in a monetary form, check the description below. There are going to be a couple of links where y'all can do that. We would greatly appreciate that. But like always, we'll see y'all next Monday with a hot new topic for your mind. And it's always love, peace, and soul.
Bye.
Like Soul Train, baby. Chip.